Okay, so the first two Sa'ifim of Siman Kuf and Gimel discussed the dinim of Mechar. That means if somebody made a certain use in somebody else's property, or the hezek that would be the hezek re'ir, and you make a mechaya about it, then there's no chazaka. If you don't make a mechaya, there's a certain form of a chazaka. According to Mechaber, it's alter without a taina. According to the Ramah, it's gimel shonim with a taina. And what taina could be if you need a kinyan, if you need mechila, if you need mechira. We went through all that already. So now, from Seif Gimel through Hey, finishes this topic, and then Seif Vav starts the next topic. So we're going to go through Seifim Gimel through Hey. So the question becomes now: if there was no mechar, so now he was machzik. Could there be a reversal of this chazaka, that one of the people is going to lose his rights? That means if the one who put the ziz over there was machzik, and he wants to now change, and if he wants to now change and put and then now the balachotzer is the one that wants to use under in that area, does he have a right to go and eliminate the rights of the Baal Aziz that he had until now? So now, just as by way of introduction, is the Mechaber holds like the Rambam that Aziz, even if it's less than a tefach, there is a chazaka. The Ramah holds it less than a tefach. There is no chazaka. So the Mechaber just have to remember that klal, because the Mechaber and the Ramah, whatever they say in the Siman, is all based upon this general understanding that certain things are going to be based on these general psakim. First of all, machlokes whether aziz pachas metefach is a chazaka or not, and second of all, what's the category of a chazaka? Yeah, but that's just so now. The Mechaber says that's if you have mechaber like this, if you're machzik a ziz, which is tefach al tefach squared, right? Because that's what we already discussed, that you need tefach al tefach squared. What is he koine or not? So over there, the person who is bal aziz is koine also the heir shekenegdei. Whatever shekenegdei means, we're going to soon see. And therefore, if the Baal HaChatzer wants to now build something under the Ziz in such a way that is going to cause the Baal HaZiz to not be able to continue using the Ziz as he was using it before, or completely eliminate his use of the Ziz, and the Baal HaZiz, who's already a muchzak, could block him from building over there, because he already was muchzak in being able to use this Ziz tefach al tefach. He acquired, so to speak, the usage rights under this for this is, and therefore he cannot. Then the Baal HaChatzer can't come and eliminate this chazaka. If the ziz is less than the tefach al tefach, and he did a chazaka in it, because according to Mechaber you could do a chazaka in it. Over there, the Mechaber says even still in all, you still could be mevatel the chazaka of the. You could be mevatel the usage rights. It means just because you allowed him to be machzik aziz less than tefach al tefach, and he was machzik in it, doesn't mean that he acquired the rights under the tefach al tefach, under the ziz pachas metefach, that you should be able to block him from using it. And there's a yasei machlokes between the Tzman and the Taz over here on understanding what is specifically this rights that the person has in this ziz, and what is the owner what's the owner is planning on doing with it. And based on this machlokes is also different nafkaminas ladina, which apply in today's day and age also. According to the Tzman, what's the Seif talking about? That the owner of the Chatzer wants to completely to do something which will completely eliminate the usage of the ziz from the bala ziz. He wants to maybe even remove the ziz completely. And what use? He wants to do a use, the lashon of the lashon of the mechaber, that it goes to a machlekes how to translate a certain word into lashon kodesh, into English, how to explain it, because the lashon is imrotza balachotze livnois tachas haziz ulevatel tashmishe, right? What does livnois tachas haziz mean? The word tachas haziz could be understood in two ways. Tachas haziz could mean under. Tachas haziz could mean instead. The Sma understands it as instead. The Taz understands it as under. Therefore, the Sma takes the approach. When you say livnix tachas haziz, means you want to completely replace the usage of the ziz instead, or in place of it. So therefore, in such a case, if it's tefach al tefach, according to the mechaber, and you want to completely eliminate it and do a different use over there, then you're not allowed to. If it's less than a tefach al tefach, then you are allowed to. So therefore, what comes out from it? That if you want to build, according to the Smeh, something under the ziz, but you're not eliminating the usage of the ziz, then you have no problem. You're not koine. According to the Smeh, you're not koine the air under the ziz. What it says, livnix tachas ziz, would refer to replacing the ziz. So as long as the usage of the ziz could continue happening as it was before, there is no problem, according to the Smeh, to continue for the bala chotzer to build something over there. And that's also how the Yad Rama understands it. According to the Yad Rama was before the Sma. The Taz holds that tachas means under. And whether it's a ziz, whether it's tefach al tefach, whether it's less than tefach al tefach, you can't build in such a way. You can't build up to the air under the ziz.
Less than tefach, you could.
Nafkamina is if he doesn't. What happens if he is not mevatel? If he doesn't eliminate completely the person's usage? That's where the Taz has a difference. If he completely eliminates the usage by him building under it, then a tefach al tefach you can't build under, and you can't because you're going to cause him to completely eliminate his use. If it's less than a tefach, you could build under it even if you eliminate his usage.
There's no shear in space though, it's just about you can still use it. There's no shear in space like there is right over tefach, like Dalet Amos or whatever.
There's a shayla if it's the Yutfachim, some people say.
That's only if it's a Makom Lashon.
Yeah. And the Nesivus holds like the Taz. Now obviously what we're talking about over here is that the usage of the ziz is on top of the ziz, not under the ziz. What?
According to the Taz, by less than tefach, you could build under it.
You could build even if he's
You build on top of it, but less than tefach, you build on top of it.
Build even if it's completely mevatel it, you could eliminate the usage of it.
So it's only not put in by a tefach.
Yeah. Now, if the usage of the ziz is for under the ziz, not above the ziz, then it seems like both of them will hold that it's that you can't build under it and eliminate it. The only question is, what's the acquiring of what rights are acquired under the ziz, and could you block somebody if blocking means completely eliminating the usage that you want to build tachas aziz instead of the ziz, or you want to build under the tachas aziz under the ziz specifically. In Seif Daled comes to that discussion of Daled al Daled. Becomes the Mokim Choshev discussion. So the Lashon of the Mechaber is that if you have a ziz which is tefach wide, because we know that's the minimum size to have a proper chazaka, and it sticks out into the chatzar 4 tefachim into the air of the chatzar. the Ramah adds over there, or that it's 4 tefachim along the width of the wall. And it's only sticking out 1 tefach, but it's 4 tefachim along the width. And there was no mecha from the Bala Chotzer, then the Bala Ziz could go and square it to Dalad al Dalad. The Erech Lechem to the Marikash created over here interesting machlekes between the Mechaber and the Ramah. Nobody else agrees with this machlekes, but the Erech Lechem did present a machlekes, which also brings an afkimin and ladina, which way to look at it. And the Erech Lechem actually, even though he's a das yachid in this scenario, makes more sense than the other people. According to the Mechaber, the way he understands it, he says the Mechaber specifically used the example that it's Dalat Tfachim going into the ear of the Chatzar. Not that it's Dalat Tfachim wide. It's not a din in Dalat Tfachim. It's Dalat Tfachim going into the ear of the Chatzar. Why is that? And if he was not Moiche, it means that he gave him a right to take 4 Tfachim of air inwards, into the Chatzar. That means the fact that he wasn't Moiche when there is a 4 tefach long stick sticking out of his wall and he's hanging things over there means that this person doesn't care that much about those 4 tefachim next to the wall. And therefore, he didn't make a mecha. He doesn't care about the 4 tefachim going out, so you could square it. But he says, but the Ramah doesn't look at it that way. The Ramah holds that even if it's along the width of the wall, then you could still be merabead mitzad din of mokim chashuv, which is what the Smeh says. That means the Smeh explains that what's the reason when the person allows you to use dalat tfachim, even on the width of the wall, not sticking out to the ear of the wall. It's because the Baal HaChatzer understands that Dalat Tfachim is a Mokim Chashuv. We all know Dalat Tfachim is also learned it last year in the Chazerevin. Dalat Tfachim is there's a certain importance to Dalat Tfachim, and therefore he allowed him to have a Mokim Chashuv to make a use of a Mokim Chashuv in his property, and therefore he could square it to Dalat Tfachim. Yeah, but that would be, according to the Erech Lechem, that would only be according to the Ramah that the Mokim Chashuv applies. According to the Erech Lechem, according to the Mechaber, is not so. Now the Erech Lechem is not in your prints. I think it's in the Mochen Yerushalayim prints. It's you have the Erech Lechem over there, so you could look at it afterwards. It's short. Now, the next question that applies over here is: do you need a mechaya for extending or not? And not a mechaya, I mean a taina for extending or not. According to the Ramah, you need a taina. When I have something which is wide 4 tefachim and 1 tefach deep, and I want to extend it to 4 by 4, do I need to have a specific taina on the extension of 4 by 4 or not? According to Svara, you don't need a specific taina. The fact is, the Mechaber says all you need to do, the Mechaber the Ramah, you could extend it. Which means that when a person allows you to use, according to the shit of the סימן, the person allows you to use 4 tefachim wide, because it's a mokim chashuv, l'chayra, he understood that he's giving it this. You don't need a specific taina to say, he allowed me to extend it to 4 by 4. Or he gave me a rights of 4 by 4. It's enough if you say, he gave me a right to stick this ziz out, and I purchased the right from him, he gave it to me as a present. Means you don't need a specific taina for the extension. However, if you look in the Tur, and Sif Zayin, and the Tshuvas HaRosh, because the Tur is based in the Rosh, and Tshuvas HaRosh Siman Daled, and other places, and Mashmos of the Ravid, that you'd still need, according to the people that say you need a taina, you would still need a taina even for the extension.
According to the Ramah.
According to the Ramah, according to Mechaber, you don't need a taina b'chlal. Now the Ramah continues that if you were machzik the length of 10 tefachim, you can only square it to 4 tefachim into the ear, but not 10 by 10. Now, if you look, there's a Shaila Moira on the Torah, and over there the Shaila Moira explains that this din of the Ramah, that if you have 10 tefachim along the length of the wall, you can only go out 4 tefachim, also applies if you have 10 tefachim, a stick 10 tefachim going out, tefach by 10 tefachim a beam, tefach by 10 tefachim, going into the air of the chotzer, that you could only widen it to 4 tefachim. And this is obviously based on understanding that the 4 tefachim is a din in the mokum choshev based on the smer. But if you're going to follow the shit of the erech lechem, that when a person gives you 10 tefachim or 4 tefachim into the air means that he doesn't care what happens under it, there could be a svara to say that you can even square the 10 by 10. But I can't tell you for sure.
Clearly it's not like that. The Rama doesn't have like that.
Who?
The Rama says you only go to 4.
Yeah, but I'm saying with erech lechem, it says that there's a machlokes mechaber Rama over here. Not that the Rama and mechaber are the same. The Rama is the one who says the 10 tefachim, right?
So it says in the Torah that you can only go up to 4 tefachim.
Right. But it's based on the understanding of a mokum chashuv. According to the erech lechem, it's a din in mechila, not a din in mokum chashuv.
Squaring it doesn't have to do with the outer under. Squaring it.
Has to do with usage. How much do you care about it? If I allow you to stick a 10-foot pole into my yard, obviously means I don't really care what goes on over there.
How could you go against the halacha?
I didn't say you could. I said you could. You say that svara. I didn't say that's how you. L'maisa, you don't go against everybody who holds one way. Now, if the mechaber then says, in such a case, you can't go. You can't. If the Baal HaChotzer wants to build under if a Baal HaChotzer wants to build under the ziz, he can't unless he leaves him 10 tefachim height. Why? Because that's a shiur of a bias, a dira, whatever you want to say it. Yeah? Obviously, common sense would dictate it only applies if you're using under the ziz. If you use only above the ziz, then you could build whatever you want under it. It's not svara. Because the only reason why you have to leave 10 tefachim under it is because the guy's using under it. But if a person's not using under it, what do you care? You can build whatever you want under it.
Does the Baal keep chazak on that?
Uh-huh.
Does the Baal keep chazak on that space on this? If he wants to use a layer, he can...
So Shaila, no, he's only machzik the tashmishim above. He's machzik what he did. It's based on what tashmish uses. According to the smash shouldn't be a problem because the smash takes the approach that it's based on mevatel tashmishay. That's what we saw before. According to the Taz, it's not about mevatel tashmishay only, but it's also because there's some ownership of some kind of reshus that he acquires. Maybe even if he doesn't use under the ziz, he could still be able to leave 10 tefachim. How much is under it?
Even going to the Taz, the whole story was not to be mevatel the
Tashmishay.
the ziz using on top of it.
Yeah, but still, could you build under it in such a way? If the ziz is only used on top, so what's the Taz saying under when he says it?
You can't build under it. It's going to be mevatel the shimush of the ziz. But if it's not, you can build to wherever you want.
It's not mevatel at all. You change it, yeah.
In Kodesh the Taz is really no chiluk if it's tefach
Or more.
or dollar.
Right.
Same.
According to Smith, there is enough coming.
So why over here though, when the Machaber specifically says 10 tefachim, before the Machaber just says...
Chaver says 4 tefachim.
But the Machaber says you can't use under...
Because here you have a mokum chashuv. That's according to that sort.
I think it's here it's more chomer, but you have more chomer, so you get less space.
Who gets less space?
Under the ziz, according to Taz, when it's tefach, you have the space under the ziz.
You have a space under the ziz if you're not mevatel tashmish. Only if you use it under the ziz.
What if someone's tashmish is more than 10 tefachim?
Over here,
Someone got a tashmish is more than 10 tefachim.
10 tefachim is at least. If you're mevatel tashmish, then for sure it's a problem. The question is, what's the if you love dafki mevatel tashmish, could you start building under it or not? Seems from the mechaber that the person acquires 10 tefachim under it also.
Over there, even when it's...
Here, in the 4 tefachim thing.
But it's tefach, according to the
It's
Taz.
tefach, no.
So, if you're tashmish under the ziz, so both... If the tashmish under the ziz,
It seems like everybody holds this a problem to mevatel it.
So when the Taz is not arguing,
Talking about above this is. Tashmish is above this is.
and it's a tefach, is there a machlokes
Yeah.
in this?
Between what?
The Siman and Taz, what's the machlokes in the Siman and Taz when it's a tefach?
When it's a tefach, when are you allowed to, if you're allowed to build under it?
When there is tashmish, when there isn't.
Huh?
When there is a tashmish, when there isn't.
When there is no tashmish. When there is tashmish under it, you for sure can't be mevatel.
So
According to the Taz and the Smeh, you can't be mevatel tashmisha of the other person.
There's no machlokes.
Huh?
They're not arguing at all.
If it's above, then there is a machlokes.
So according to the Taz, there's no difference between 4 tefach and 1 tefach, because you can never move out the space under it.
Yeah. So it seems like.
Why is the Mechaber right over here? The tefach before that's right.
Weiß nicht.
Probably.
4 tefachim is you can 100 even if you don't use it flat.
But according to the Taz, according doesn't matter if you're using it or not using it. You can never move out the use.
Okay, Taz doesn't make a difference.
So how much space is for 1 tefach?
No, whatever it's used.
So now, if you have an air conditioner sticking out of the window, what's bitul tashmisha? It's putting a wall right in front of the air conditioner. Even though the ziz, you're not using that under the air conditioner and not above the air conditioner. But the air conditioner needs a couple inches of clearance around it to be able for the air to come out.
The window anyway.
Huh?
The window in general, you get the
I'm talking about there's no window, there's a hole in the wall. I stuck an air conditioner out. That's my ziz into your chatzah. That was machzik it. And I want to go and put up a wall over there to block it. Will be a problem because I was machzik that usage over there. Huh? No, has a kriya. But except for if he wants to build over there. And the Rama over there says, now what happens for Kert if the Baal Aziz if the Baal Chotzer wants to stick a Ziz into the neighbor's wall, then the neighbor could block him. So what are we talking about over here? Is this pachas metefach more than the tefach? What's the thing? If it's let's go first with less than a tefach. If it's less than a tefach, and the other guy's reshus, it's in his reshus. The Baal Chotzer.
I'm saying it's the other guy's wall.
It's the other guy's wall. The Baal Chotzer wants to stick a ziz pachas metefach. That technically could cause damage to the wall because you're going to stick something heavy on it. Right? If I stick you could today you could get very thin metal stands that are less than a tefach. You could put a full air conditioner on it. Could it cause damage to the wall? Ken sein. Depends how the wall is. It could weigh it down. Yeah, you're able to have much stronger metals today than there are. So if it's enough, if it's something which causes a hezek and it's less than a tefach, the chayri could be minea because the guy's causing you a hezek. That's what the Knesset Agdela says in the name of the Shailamayra. And over there, Knesset Agdela says in the name of Shailamayra, everything that goes based on each time to be determined. If it's less than a tefach, it's not automatically that he could block it. That the Bala Koisel could block it. If it's something which is going to cause damage, then he could. This is a Knesset Agdela says it in the name of the Shaila Moira.
The Rama clearly says.
Huh?
It could be mecha even if it's public.
Yeah, but when?
Then so he's quoting the Torah. The shit the Torah that about you can't just put something in my rishos even if it's public.
Right, but that's the shitta that you can't put something in my rishos pachas mitefach. Why is it? Is it because of hezek?
My rishos.
If it's my rishos, I have the din of kaif namidas daim.
Not according to the Torah.
It's not some machlekes. According to the Torah, you don't have the Torah. The Torah is choylek on that. Because according to the Ribar Tzilani, which is not the Torah, which the Torah brings, then you have midas daim. The Torah himself holds that you can be ma'akev in any scenario. According to the Torah, you can be ma'akev in any scenario because you can't use somebody else's property.
So this Rama on Enish's Dal is going.
The Ramah is according to the Torah. She does the Torah, yeah. The Ramah didn't make any difference. No, start with the Ramah. According to the Ramah, there's no difference. The Ramah follows the shit of the Torah, not the shit of the Ribar Tzilani. And the Bach clearly writes it on the Torah that that even if it's not mazik, you can still be ma'akev. That's the Bach clearly says it. He says that it's very clear according to the Torah that what the Torah says that you could be ma'akev even less than a tefach. It's even if it's clear there's not going to be any hezek. Sagdela brings it on the Torah, brings it through Vasalani. He doesn't pass it. From the Smeh over here, it seems like it's only when he's mazik. Since if got involved, it seems like it's only when he's. From the Smeh, it seems like he doesn't agree with what the Torah says. Smeh over here.
It looks like it's telling on weight. It's telling on the ziz itself. When you install the ziz, something's look like it's telling on the installation of the ziz. It has nothing to do with what you hang on it.
A second. Okay, he says, in Sifkot Niyut, sheyoymar zizach yikalkel koisi. You could tell him it's going to cause damage, and he understands that that's how it came pasuk atur.
There's also it's a copy down the word later to take it down.
Right, but if it seems from the Smeh that if it's clear he's not causing him any hezek over there, it's not. Then l'chayre should not be a problem according to the Smeh.
Because structural damage.
So it's down the line.
It's on the way to structural damage.
If I put the stickers on there, the kids playing over there, and I put stickers on the wall, is that a problem? According to the Torah l'chayre, yeah. I'm not doing anything. There's no hezek, huh?
Not a problem.
Could be meicher. According to the Smer, and according to the Riba Tziloni, and according to the Knesset Agdela, it seems like it can't be meicher. Mamash midas doim. What do you care? Unless it's painted. If it's painted, you can put little stickers and it causes damage to the paint. But if it's just bricks, what damage doesn't happen to you? The only damage is that if the sun's going to shine there for 100 years, you're going to have a bald spot. Okay. Now, the Sifei, the Mechaber continues that if Yesh Mishoimer, that if this is only in a chutzner which does not have an opening or a chaloin, but a chutzner where chaloin is already opened into it, you could take out the ziz even if whenever you want because there's already has a kriya, and even if there's just adding a little bit more has a kriya is not the end of the world. Yeah, because the whole hezek is hezek re'iyah. More use is more hezek re'iyah. Now there's something which comes up, which is a question which applies more in other countries than here, but still we should discuss it, and that is in Eretz Yisrael the minhag that you build porches out of your windows, and people create porches into public spaces. Here it's not so common, but in Israel you see it more often, especially in the Haredi cities, with permits, without permits. Is it being held by whatever, sometimes it's being held by miracles, but that's not the discussion at the thing. The question is, could you take out a porch into the area, and there's already a window there, 2 big windows. The windows out of my dining room, and in a public chutzner, or to my neighbor. I want to take out a porch in the same place. Could I do such a thing or not? The Maharit in Chelik Beis Cheshmitzim Ayin Vav holds that it's asur, and the reason is even though you already had windows over there, but this is going to be a much bigger hezek re'iyah going out over there. And if you're going to follow the opinion that the hezek is not mitzad hezek re'iyah, but mitzad the fact that you're preventing me from building over there, you also have that over there. And to take it to if it's not to a neighbor, but if it's to a public area, you have like a courtyard where everybody is partners over there. You could still say the other neighbors could also say there's more hezek re'iyah. They could say it's going to prevent building in the future, etc. But what happens if you're not causing hezek re'iyah and you're not causing to prevent construction in the future? There's a machlokes in two, we'll call them modern day poskim, which are both in Elam Amos already. Is you're not causing any hezek. I'm opening it into the driveway. Opening a porch towards the driveway, shared driveway. I'm not causing any hezek. There's no hezek over there. And there's no hezek of construction because you can't build over there anyways. According to the Minchas Yitzchak in Chelik Vav Siman Kuf Ayin, he holds that it's mutter. There's no reason why to be oiseret. The Mishknas Yaakov, the Mishknas Yisrael, who was Rav Yisrael Grossman, the Rosh Yeshiva Kfar Chabad, has a book called Shas Jews Mishknas Yisrael, which is all the shilas that could come up in condo buildings and in bungalow colonies and all these things. It's an interesting book. I don't know if I have one downstairs, I'm not sure. I think I picked one up. Then that he over there holds, in Mishknas Yisrael, he holds that it's in Siman Tes, he proves from the Lechem Rav, and Siman Kuf Ametes, that it's Aser. Lechem Rav, Shas Lechem Rav, he proves over there, the Lechem Rav proves from the Ramah that it's Aser, because you're even though you're not causing directly a hezek, but the mere fact that this air is shared air, that it's for shutfim, and each person has a right to use that area. He doesn't have a right to build into the area. That's how he's more machmer on it. Huh? People have a right to use the area under it, and you don't have a right, just because you're a shutef in this chatzar, and you have a schus shtamshus, doesn't give you a right to stick a porch into the common air which belongs to everybody, even though you're not directly causing a hazard to everybody else. Yeah. Based on Torah, yeah. Now, if there was no mechai from all the neighbors or from the neighbor, then obviously you're kinda, right? You can't come afterwards and say, I don't want the porch over there. But you're only kinda the porch on top of the porch. You can't say, being that you only use it on top of the porch, it's pretty clear that you can't say afterwards, that being that you weren't moiche, I could now go and build a shed under the porch in your property because I was kind of say I wasn't moiche, because it's clear a porch is not a ziz that you walk in from under and you hang things up on top of it. A porch is clear that you're going into your porch from your house, and you're not going to use under the porch. Yeah, and with that, Sif Hey is what ends the discussions of the ziz, and Sif Vav begins with the discussions of the tziner, of the gutters. So Mechaber over there starts as saying that someone wants to take out a tziner, a pipe of water, which is shikaleach shama mayim, that the water is going to stream out of it into.
What's the difference between Ramah and the Sifei and the Sivah? Like you know about the ziz that you do for rain and a regular maskila.
Over there he's talking about you stick just to the air shouldn't drip, the water shouldn't drip down right away. It will go around the ziz, it'll fall down, but it's still going to fall onto your wall. It's just not going to fall directly at the seams. That's how I understand it. As opposed to gutters, it's further out. You stick it further out. And maschela is a long pipe which catches all the water to bring it down. The maschela is a tziner gadol, is a full gutter. A regular tziner is not a full gutter.
Tziner is the extension of the maschela.
Tziner is the lower part from the maschela. Yeah, and then the Baal HaChatzer, it says if a person, the Baal HaChatzer could be ma'akev. Why? Because he's causing him a hezek. Clearly causing him a hezek. And if he was not moiche, the Baal Tziner is machzik. Yeah? The Chayr is machzik miyad, according to the Mechaber. The hezek is nikah right away. Now, the same din would apply to Chayr. Again, like I said, if you have a big air conditioning unit with a big pipe that's dripping serious water, that will be maybe the same din as this pipe, serious amount of water going down. The Ramah right away points out to you over here, you shouldn't forget, because they're starting a new topic in the Siman. Obviously, you need 3 years and a taina. And why does the Ramah have to add it here, aside from the fact we're starting a new topic? Is because by water, the hezek is much more clearly visible. And therefore, there will be a svara, you don't have to wait 3 years. As opposed to a ziz, where you could say, it's a hezek re'iyah, I'm not sure if it's going to cause me damage, I have to see if your flower pot is going to fall off, I don't know what's going to happen, am I going to build, am I not going to build? By a gutter that's flowing into somebody else's property, the hezek is pretty clear. And the Chayra, according to that, the Svara would say that you should be moiche, you should be able to be kaina right away. So Mechaber says no, Rama says no. Over here also you need a 3 years and a taina. What's taka the Svara? This is in the Sivis.
Everyone hold both places in the halakha?
Which both
I'm
places?
saying, all the people that hold over there, they need also to hold over here? Or
Where's over there?
all the people that hold by
Sif Aleph?
Yeah. Also over there?
Yeah. The Nesivis asks this question. The Nesivis says, in Siman Kuf Mem Tes, we have a din that if somebody digs boiros in this is in the Nesivis over here, Sifkoten Zion. It's in Beurim Sifkoten Zion. Then in Kuf Mem Tes, the Ramah says that if somebody digs boiros in his neighbor's yard, and the guy was not moich, it's a chazaka miyad. Why? Because the hezek is there right away. So therefore comes the question, why do you need 3 years over here when the hezek is also miyad? And the Sivas gives a very interesting different explanation between there and here. It says over there, when somebody digs a big pit in your yard and you're not moiche, if you're moiche, he's going to have to fill it up and fix it. If you're not moiche, that becomes a permanent damage to your yard, a permanent structure in your yard. Therefore, the chazaka happens at that moment. By a tzinoir, he says, at any point in time during the 3 years, if I feel that there's damage happening, I could just tell you, take the pipe away. And the damage stops right away. There's no more damage. The damaging party doesn't have to do any action other than remove the pipe. Doesn't have to fill up a hole, doesn't have to do anything of the sort. So over here, he's doing a kilkul in gufa karka. Over here, he's not doing a kilkul in gufa karka, and therefore, over here you need 3 years. Over there, you don't need. Huh?
Two first. Also, Chusam Ma'isa and that's
Yeah. That's what it looks like from him. Yeah. First, it's the shani hacha shein tzarich tikkun begufa chatzer. And over there it says kilkul beguf karka shel chaveirei.
What about matho?
Huh?
I know there's one where it works out there. Matho, if someone's blocking a window.
What?
Is there another case where it works out there, not just the bears? Like
Blocking windows?
Blocking window?
Yeah.
So maybe the sears like that.
Why?
Because it's like water immediately made very annoying. Just like what's it called? Just like a window.
Not all the guys gotta do is take away his wall, take away a cutter, take away the wall, it's like what's the story?
No, Mafu, you built the structure. Over here,
Your
you
gutter is
built
also
over,
more or less a structure.
no. So then you get to a second. No, the gutter itself is not mazik. If I build a gutter in Las Vegas, I'm not mazik anybody's property. I can build a 6-inch gutter out of my roof, and it's not going to be mazik anybody's property because it doesn't rain. I can build a gutter. So often the guy's gone. You go to the next point. Over here, the hezek, we're going to discuss it now. In Siman Kuf Nun Hey, Sifam at Beis is discussion that a person is allowed to do something in his property, even though it's going to cause indirectly a hezek to the other person, unless and it can't be ma'akamas, it's gira delay. Direct goyrim b'yadayim hezek. Over here, who is goyrim the hezek? If I put up a gutter, it's not gira delay, it's gira de kutshabrichu. The Eibusher is the one that puts the rain, and the rain goes through the gutter. I wasn't the one, I didn't take a hose and stick it into my neighbor. I actually went and just made a gutter over there.
Isn't there shit that goes water from your house?
Yeah, that's going to get to it, yeah. So if you're putting the gutter into your friend's property, then you're using your friend's property. There's a svara to say that it's also Pashim Mitzad using. Why? because the only reason of midas daim is chaser. Over here, even though you're not the one causing damage, but your action that you're using my property is going to cause me damage. So there's no more midas daim of zenen of chaser, because zenen and ze is chaser. So even though it's not you're causing the chisaron, but still a problem. The question is, if the gutter is in my property, and the gutter ends in my property, but the direction of the gutter is facing the other guy's property. So I didn't build anything in your property. I made the gutter in my property, and at the end of the gutter, I twisted it in such a way that all the water flows into your property. What's the din there? Do we say gira delay or not? Could we say that your own thing is causing damage or not? So there is a discussion about the rain, who it belongs to. The Rashba in Chelek Gimel Siman Kuf Pei Aleph, he holds that the rain that falls on your roof becomes yours. It's called mamoinei. So now, if the rain falls on my roof and then goes into somebody else's, mamoinei u'shehezek. My moment is causing you a hezek. But that's the Rashba. The Rivosh and Siman Tov Kuf Yud Zayin holds that's not mamoinei. So the Chayra, according to the Rashba, it would be aser. According to the Rivosh, it would be mutter. I didn't do anything to your property. I just put a gutter in my property, and the Eibusher decided to make it rain, and now the water is going into your property. The Ma'arach Or Zerua has a middle approach, Siman Kuf Chav Beis. He holds that when you do an action, that Chakas Nezikim applies when I take a bucket of shofchim, of sewer water, and spill it. Then I have to be Machik Tanesek. Why? Because you're doing it with your hands. But the rain that falls off my roof and somehow makes it to your property is not something which I did with my own hands, and therefore I'm not chayiv for that damage. So now if I put a gutter, according to Marach or Zerua, it's the same thing as me taking water and spilling it out into your property. Because the gutter is what causes it to go into your property. I put the gutter to do it. So if I wouldn't put a gutter and the water would fall off my roof and continue to your property is one thing. But I went and did an action with my hands. So according to the Arizarua, we could say that's probably a problem. According to the Rivosh, it seems like it's not a problem. According to the Rashba, it seems like it is a problem.
According to all that shit, it's
The Ramal is 3 years. Yeah.
What about Beit HaShmisha though? Beit HaShmisha, the water that comes from your house, that's constant. Is that like Makel and like Burrs?
You have, what do you mean? It's at 3 years?
It's not the whole, the killing of the gutters is that it's allowed to be constant, it's not allowed. What if it's Beit HaShmisha? What if it's your
If I take a bucket and I spill it into somebody else's one time?
Not a bucket. Let's say you have an AC that has a lot of water that's just constantly leaking out of it.
It's not constantly, it's only in the summer. And it depends on how much humidity is in the air. It depends on what the weather is.
What about it's coming from your sink, or what, you have like a...
Then maybe it's the Chayra still you still have 3 years. Seems like they still have 3 years over here also. Because still not for sure it's going to cause a hezek. It's for sure water coming out. It's not for sure it's going to cause a hezek.
If like the septic tank is in your neighbor's chaser, let's say
Let's say the septic tank in my neighbor's chaser. Your septic tank is causing damage to the property.
Depends what
kind of septic tank you make. If you do a good job or not. If it's leaking or not.
Rama in Shifid Beis writes this thing about when you pour, if you have a shus to pour for one piece, you should do for 5 pieces. It says, but if you
Shoifchim,
end of Rama Beis,
yeah.
so that's okay, even if he's not doing what he made up, since it's Bishusay.
No. If they're talking about, you have, those days the sewers were uncovered. And you had a canal. And each person would have his pour to the canal thing. So over there, the mere fact that I have now more people using the bathroom doesn't mean that I have to get a new chazak on it. The fact is the sewer line was built this way. It starts in my property, goes to the next property, goes to the next property, goes to the next property. I don't have to. The fact that it's already such a chazaka means I can continue using it without any issues.
It's only because it's Rishus, it's what you're talking about now, is that?
Yeah, it's in his own rishus. and it's flowing into the next person's rishus. Now the Mechaber over here continues and says, if the Baal Tziner afterwards wants to close the Tziner, the Baal HaChotzer was not moiche. Then the Baal Tziner, and the Baal Tziner wants to now block it. The Baal HaChotzer could be ma'akev. Why is that? Because the Baal HaChotzer could say, it says, the Mechaber says, Kashem shehechzik Baal HaGag lishpech meim of the Chatzer chaveiroi, kach hechzik Baal HaChotzer also has a chazaka that he gets the water and he could use them. And the first question to understand over here is, what schos does a Baal HaChotzer have in the water? Since when did he become a Baal Bos over these waters? Or enough that he could block the other person from taking the pipe away? And then the Sivis right away asks this question, Sivkot and Ches, that even if the Baal HaGag clearly tells you and was makna to you, the water is going to come self-garnished. Why? Because he wasn't makna to him guf karka together with it. There was no kinyan of guf karka together with it. How can you be kinyan what's going to fall over there? So being that the Baal HaGag was not makna part of the gag together with the water to him, how does that going to help that he's able to be kinyan the water that's going to come over there? And you can't say that it was guf agav peiris, that he was makna him the guf of the karka for the purpose of peiris. So he says the only reason you have over here is it's not really mitzat kinyan. Rather, it's a chischayvus. It's not a kinyan. He says the Baal HaGag made a somewhat of a kinyan on the chotzer of his friend. Because by him, that's how he was able, according to the Ramah, there's some kind of time over here, some kind of kinyan of something of usage of the other person's chotzer. So the water should fall over there. And the only reason why Baal HaChotzer was masking for it, and he was makna to him, so to speak, that part of the karka for the water to fall over there, is because he's going to acquire the water which he needs. And he could always use the water. And that's why it's worth it for him to do it. So therefore, even though the rainwater is a davar shlei b'laylam, and you can't make a schayvus and something which is a davar shlei b'laylam, which is also a known thing, you can't do a schayvus on the future, doesn't help. So how can I make a schayvus and davar shlei b'laylam? So if you make a kinyan, and together with the kinyan through Mashiach you make a tanai with it, and the tanai is a schayvus, that works also for a davar shlei b'laylam. Why is that? Because when you have a kinyan on both ends, it means you have a tnaika, you have a kinyan kaful, you have a kinyan from one end that he's makna to the Baal HaChotzer, is makna is karka to the Baal HaGag for the water to fall, and through that the Baal HaGag is makna to the Baal HaChotzer, the davar shlei b'laylam, the rainwater is going to come down the line. Therefore, in such a case, the kinyan works. Now the kinyan, this chayvus works, huh?
Because it's tonight.
Tonight connected to a kinyan.
Yeah, if you're about to do it tonight.
Huh?
You're about to do it tonight.
Then about to tonight.
He stops giving him the water. He says, "Now I'm about to the king." Means he has to move away his pipe.
Yes. No. He could block him. We made a deal. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. I made a deal with you. I bought from you something. You bought from me something.
You can't buy it. It's labeled. You can't buy this water.
There's a schayvus forever. That it's there.
It's labeled. Have to be the
Because a schayvus and something that comes together with a kinyan and something else works. Because it's a double. It's a schayvus. So the schayvus has a validity as a t'nai in the kinyan. It became part of the kinyan. Became part of the other person's kinyan. As he says, and the Sivas over there says that every t'nai, every kinyan is mechayev the tzatche keneged. They're mechayev the other side also. The lashon over here is. It's the kinyan she'oisa zeh mechayev shekenegdoi, and therefore, since it's a chiyuv, hu mehane fil b'davar shlei b'laylam. Since it's a chiyuv, it's also something which is a davar shlei b'laylam. There's a Beis Yaakov over here on this, and he asks a question. He says, "I don't know why the Nesivos had to say it's medin chiyuv, it's not medin kinyan." The Nemuke Yosef and Baba Basra, Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis, clearly says that it's mamash a kinyan, that it's mamash, that there's a kinyan going both ways. The Smeh says in the name of the Mukhi Yosef, and the Mukhi Yosef says in the name of the Ra'ah, that this applies only as long as the roof is in existence. But then you can't take the pipe and move it to one side and redirect the water. And not only that, by the way, the Chidush Chasam Sofer here on this Sa'if says that you could even take him to Bez and to be koi for him to put the pipe back in place. No, if he moves it while the gag is still there, just moves the pipe away. But now the Smeh says if the Baal Gag wants to change the gag and add a floor, now it's going to be an aliyah over there. It's no longer going to be a gag. There's no more water going to be coming down this way. Then he has Baal Chatzer can no longer be me'akev. And a bunch of people ask a question on that. So the Olam HaMishpat says that how can you say that the name of the Mukhi Yosef? Mukhi Yosef brings them in the name of the Ra'ah, and the Mukhi Yosef himself says that it's not so clear as a Midlosh and Megumgum. The same Beis Yaakov also over here says that it's the Mukhi Yosef is Megumgum, and the Smeh decided to take the Shitta of the Mukhi Yosef in the name of the Ra'ah, which is Megumgum, when you have the Ritva, which clearly says that he could be Ma'akev. And the Beis Yosef brings the Shitta of the Ritva also and is not Machriya. So therefore, how can you do it? How can you be Machriya such a way? L'maisa, we do see that the Smeh and the Shach and the Nesivis holds that he cannot be Ma'akev in such a scenario.
Either way, you're going to be getting the water. You're going to be getting it from the aliyah.
You're not going to
get the water.
No, I'm not going to get it from the aliyah. You get it differently. Or maybe you're not going to get as much water. The Mariban Lev says that being that all the poskim, almost all the poskim, were machriya, like the Re'ah, that you cannot be ma'akev if you want to change the gag to something else. Therefore, the Baal HaChatzer can't even say kimli against the Achrasa poskim. Can't come and say kimli, The Mariban Lev says the Baal HaChatzer can't come and say kimli like the Ritva. That's only the Mariban Lev. The Knesset Agdoilo says in Agoyes Beis Yosef Ois Chav Beis that it's not so clear you can't say Kimli, because at the end of the day the Ritva is not a Das Yochid, and the Mukhi Yosef himself is Megumgum, and other people do paskin like the Ritva. So to say Kimli, Mela, if you say you can't say Kimli when it's against the Das Yochid is one thing, but if the Ritva is not a Das Yochid, other people hold like him. The Divrei Malkiel, Chuvas, and much later Chuvas, and Siman Chelik Dalet Siman Kuf Mem Vav, says, just by the way, that the Mabit also holds like the Ritva. The Ramah over here then concludes this Seif by saying that the Baal Gag removes the tzinor completely, or he moved the water to a different property, and the Baal HaChatzer didn't make any mechar, he loses his schus right away, and that's considered a mechila on his chazakeh, and you don't need 3 years. Chanan asked over here if you need 3 years for the Baal HaMayim, needs also the same 3 years as the Baal HaChatzer needs the same 3 years as the Baal HaGag to be machzik. It seems like he does, but the Swaris. If the Baal HaGag puts a tzinor, and after 2 years he wants to move the tzinor. The Baal HaChatzer, when does the Baal HaChatzer have a kinyan on the water? Is that medin mechila or is that medin kinyan? Yeah. The only reason why you need 3 years, according to the Ramah, is because you want to make sure that the person gave his rights, had a right to be moiche and was not moiche and everything else, and therefore he was a kinyan. Question is, the Baal HaMayim, when does he acquire the water? When could he start blocking the Baal HaGag from moving the pipe away? Does he need 3 years or not? And I don't have a clear answer for it. You could say that that the 3 years is needed, that you need 3 years. You could say,
Person need a timer.
Taina is, what's the Taina? According to the Nesivus, it says Chayvus. According to the Nemukah Yosef, it's a Kinyan. If it says Chayvus or a Kinyan, it's La'alter. Why do you need 3 years?
That's what I was dripping.
Huh?
That's the fact that let them drip it is a kinyan.
Not that I let him drip it. I let you drip it because I'm acquiring the water. When could I stop you from doing it? There's a svara, if you want to follow there's a svara to say that it happens right away. But the svara fakert is because the lashon of the Ramah is kashem shehech, the lashon mechaber is kashem shehech zigzag, which means that it's equal on both ends.
What's not from the kinyan is chayvus then? What's not from the kinyan is chayvus?
What's nafkamin? I don't know what nafkamin is. Poil if it's a kinyan is chayvus. It's on a davar shlei b'laylam. It's better if it's a kinyan. If you say it's a kinyan, it's much better. Anyways, okay. There's also in Sif Zayin, but it's already late. We'll be mamshich. It's Hashem Wednesday or Thursday. It's going to be a shir this afternoon on Hilchis Shabbos.